everyone, welcome to I Am Canada. Today my guest is extremely special and I was thinking, how should I introduce her? Some people call her a career coach, many others call her their lifeline. I am so excited to share Daisy Wright from thewrightcareer.com. Hi Daisy, welcome to I Am Canada.
Hi there, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited.
Yes, I'm excited too.
So Daisy, you've been working with a lot of people over a long period of time. So we're going to chat a lot about that today.
Okay.
Really about the human interaction with people, understanding them and really helping them out. That's what I Am Canada is all about.
Okay, well I'm glad. It sounds interesting.
So in your title, Daisy, you call yourself the CEO.
Yes.
And we're just wondering, what is the significance of that for yourself and for other people?
Well, the CEO is pretty common. It's the Chief Executive Officer of any organization. For me though, it's the Chief Encouragement Officer. That's what I call myself. And basically that's what I do with my clients, with people I meet. I'm always encouraging them. Because people get to a point where sometimes, especially from a career perspective, especially from a new immigrant perspective, they get despondent. They just feel that life is over. And my role is really to encourage them, to tell them, no, life is just beginning. So that's where I got the title from.
Okay, so when you say people get discouraged and despondent, what are some of the tools that you use to lift them up?
Probably it could be as basic as a word of encouragement. It could be a story, and I usually, especially for newcomers, I usually use my own story to tell them that DaisyWright.com didn't just happen. We had our struggles. I take my husband's story, for example, where he's a system operator. He was an electrical technician before he got here. And he got here and his first job was in a factory. That was shocking to anybody. So I use those stories to encourage people to say, life is just beginning. It's not a matter of where you are right now today, it's where you're going. So I usually encourage people mostly through stories. But then there are tools as well. We don't reflect on who we are. We don't take the time to do that, to reflect on who we are. What have we been doing? What have we done all our lives? It's easy to see what's happening right now, but we don't stop to think, what have I contributed to the world? What have I contributed to the companies I've worked with? And when you start that self-reflection, you do realize that you have done so much more than what you thought. And that in itself, self-reflection by itself, helps to lift the spirit, helps to motivate, and help to say, well, I did it then, I should be able to do it again.
That sounds wonderful. So Daisy, tell us about how you started doing what you do every day.
Well, do you want a full story?
Oh yes, for sure. I think people would love to hear that.
Or do you want half of the story?
No, we want the full one. Give it to us.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll kind of start probably midway, where my son was 5 years old at the time, and I got home from work, and he said to me, Mom, did you come home last night? And that thing hit me right here, because the two children, I have an older daughter, and I realized they had not seen me since Sunday night, and that was a Tuesday night. And I said to myself, here I am, working so hard in a corporate setting and not getting the promotion that I thought I had deserved. And here is a 5-year-old asking me if I had come home last night. And it really put things in perspective. So I decided, after days later, that I was going to check see a career coach to see if there are things I could be doing rather than this mundane type of a job. So I went to the lady, had a great talk with her. Again, we did some self-reflection. And I remember she asked me, she said, have you ever taught? And immediately I said to her, no. And we left it at that. And on my way home, I'm saying, wow, she asked me if I'd ever taught. And I did teach. Arranged my resume and I focused on the training and teaching background, and I sent it to every college in the Greater Toronto area, every one of them. And Sheridan, I heard from Sheridan College. They were the only one that responded, and it was a lady who called me and said, we don't have anything happening right now, but your skills and background will be a good fit at some point. And I say, yay! Because at least somebody had responded.
Exactly, yeah.
At the same time, I decided to start my business, part-time my resume writing business, because I do have writing in my background, having public relations as my background as well. So I started doing, so I said, you know, I could start my business part-time, and if I get this teaching opportunity, I could teach. So 6 months later, I followed up with Sheridan to see what was happening, and this other lady, it wasn't the same one who had called, she said, you know, come in for an interview. And I went in for the interview that December. And January 2nd, the following year, I started teaching in the Faculty of Business. At that time, I asked my employer if they could allow me to go part-time, because I found this teaching opportunity and I wanted to try it out. So they said, go ahead. I mean, I was enjoying it, the teaching, and the fact, more importantly, the fact that I was seeing my 2 kids. I was dropping them off at school, having breakfast with them, volunteering at their school. And so, yes, it was a huge cut in salary.
But you took that initiative.
But I took the initiative, and it was giving me what I needed at the time. Time with my kids, but also time to explore other career opportunities.
So tell us about, you've talked a lot about your work. Tell us about your motivation to come to Canada.
Well, so I got home and I said to my husband, I said, you know, dear, I think we're moving to Canada.
Oh.
And he said, what? And I said, I just filled in this form. Oh, I was just kidding.
So how many years ago was that?
That was 31 years ago.
Oh wow, was
Yeah.
Canada very different at that point?
It was totally different. When we got here, first of all, we moved, left Jamaica, got our visas, left Jamaica and stopped in New York for a while. There I got antsy. And I said, you know, I think I'm going to look for a job. So I applied at the United Nations, UNIFEM, it's now UN Women, and I got the job. And as soon after I got that job, I got pregnant with my son.
Okay.
So we ended up staying there about a year and a half, moved up to absolutely different than what it is right now, which is a good thing.
Okay.
It is a good thing because we're able to meet and socialize and build relationships with people of different cultures. It was good for them,
Right.
but what we also discovered, it was good for the other kids. They were learning the cultural nuances of, they were learning from each other, building relationships. They were genuine relationships. We cry the same. There is so much more commonalities among people than what differentiates us.
When you moved first to Canada, who supported you? Who was your support system?
Well, we had to start from scratch because we didn't have family here. I did have some very good friends from high school. So they were able to tap into them. There was a gentleman who worked at the same company where my husband and I worked, with even people that we did not know. It was a matter of being open. Then, even though some might not have answered, most would return the hello or the hi, and you end up having a conversation, with them.
Yeah.
That's what Canada is all
Canada.
about. That's exactly it. So it just ties right into what you're doing right now,
Yes.
and focusing on what keeps us together or what's going to keep us together.
Exactly,
Yeah.
to build this country together. Moving forward.
Yeah.
So Daisy, moving back to what you do every day, and that's helping people with their careers.
Right.
So if you were the CEO of a company, which you are.
Yes. The chief encouragement officer.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what is the one thing that you would completely ban in the office?
Well, I guess it's already banned and it's smoking.
It is, yeah.
But other than that, that's interesting. I am not sure. I'm not sure what I would ban in the office because I think my policies would always be around treating people with respect, being cognizant of people who are different,
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging everybody to learn as much as they can about each other. So I think I would probably end up with an almost perfect workplace.
One thing that you would make absolutely compulsory in the office. Everybody has to follow it. Everybody has to do it.
You know what that would be? Diversity training.
Mm-hmm.
That would have to be, and not diversity training in words. I'm thinking in terms of deeds. We need to understand each other. We need to make sure that workplaces and employers need to make sure that workplaces are they take those kind of things into concern. Because you know what? If all of us look alike and behave alike, we can't move, we can't grow. It's the collaboration of everybody putting their geniuses to work. You know, we all come from a different perspective. We all come from a different points of view. And when we gather together, when we put our heads together, mighty things can happen. See, collaboration is
good. So collaborate to grow is the message that Daisy is giving to us today. Daisy, what do you and your tribe have in the future?
The projects I really want to, let me back up. A couple of personal projects would be, I want to earn my Certified Career Development Practitioner certification, and that's on my vision board for 2018. I also want to earn my ACC, which is the Associate Certified Coach through International Coach Federation. So those are personal goals. The other one is to get the third copy of this experience. So that's from a personal goal. From a tribe goal, I'm actually working with a couple of my colleagues, Taranam Khan, who you know, my very good friend, lovely lady, and Shelley L. Sliger, another colleague of mine. And we're planning a professional development day. Lots of things happening.
So let's show this book to everyone. Would you like to hold it up?
Of course.
And tell us a little bit about it.
So the No Canadian Experience A is a career success guide for new immigrants. And this book came out of my story, my husband's story, but also the stories of many, many people we met during the process, and people who were struggling, you know, having left their good jobs in their different countries, and they came here, and you know, it was not what they expected. And so I thought, much like how you have started I Am Canada, I thought I could contribute, make my own contribution by chronicling the stories of the different people we were meeting, but also because by then I'd started my business doing career coaching, and I said, if I could even assist in that particular area to tell people, you know, what the struggles we went through and what they can avoid and what they should be doing, that's how this book came around. And I'm pleased to say it became a Canadian bestseller in the job hunting genre.
That's wonderful.
And I'm not good at marketing, right? But it marketed itself. Just the title of No Canadian Experience marketed itself, and it continues to do well. But it wasn't just me, and I always talk about this when I talk about my books. It wasn't just Daisy. I had a tribe. I reached out to people in the US and a lot of my colleagues here in Canada who contributed to this book. So the success is not just mine. The success goes to all those people who contributed their piece to this particular book.
Such a prime example of collaborate to grow.
Yes, yep.
This is the best one there is.
I'm so pleased that you are doing this. So So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
For the little
Thank you.
for the little part that I'm playing in all of
This is great.
Thank you.
Alright, that should be the